Happy Father's Day. Hey, everybody. There's no way that I could let this month of June go by without honoring our fathers, those that identify as dads and fathers in this light family. So, whether your father's living, your father's deceased, whether you identify as a father or not, if you were drawn here, there is some message you need to hear that's in this Father's Day special, okay? So first, what I want to do, I'm going to give a little collective reading for those who identify as dads in this family of light. Now, if you don't identify as a dad and you're just here to learn what you need to know about your dad and your connection to your dad, then you can skip ahead to the POW selection. But if you identify as a father or a dad, then you want to hang around and get this little collective message, because it may be something you need to know that is coming in pretty quickly, is what I'm hearing. There's something you need to know about that is on the immediate horizon. Again, happy Father's Day, y'all. I hope you're having beautiful weather where you are. Over where I am, it's threatening with thunderstorm showers after 2 p.m. today, but right now, it's okay, it's peaceful, it's calm, it's a quiet start to Father's Day. And I hope that all of you have a wonderful one, regardless of whether your father is in or not in your life. So let me take a sip of water, and we're going to get into this collective read. Ooh, by the way, y'all, today is a day to kind of have some compassion for masculine energy in your life. So like if you need to have that talk with someone who identifies as your father or a masculine energy, dominant energy in your life, today where it might have once seemed like maybe the energy was very cold and hard and unable for you to penetrate and get through to the emotions of a person, I feel like today that ice is melting. Either within you, you're starting to feel like, okay, I can forgive, I can open back up, or on the masculine, your dad or father figure or children's father, whatever this father figure is in your life, or it could be on their end. So take that if it resonates, okay? Let me get into the collective read. All right, we have 7 of Wands. So my collective family of fathers, there is something you feel like you've really, really been trying to hold your ground with. 6 of Swords, but you're being advised to leave something behind, my light family dads. There's something you're really, really holding tight to, that you've really felt like you had to defend. It could be a relationship. It could be a way that you discipline. It could be a belief system you want to instill in your family. But there's something you've been feeling like you've had to stand your ground against opposition for. And either you're walking away from that or you're being advised to. 10 of Pentacles coming through reverse. Okay, dads, I was hoping to give you like a really good opening to the read, but I have to be honest. This is looking like a parting of ways. Now, let me see. We have the Child of Wands. It's the Page of Wands. And one more card. The Ace of Cups reversed. What's at the bottom? Give us some hope. Temperance. All right. So, my collective of dads. What it seems that you need to know right now. My stomach just said something. It's almost like it's like something you really were fighting for. I keep hearing something you were very passionate about, you were standing your ground about, but maybe you weren't really clear. Maybe you didn't have the whole story. Maybe you were reacting rather than responding to something that you just felt like people didn't understand or they were coming up against. Maybe it's you felt they didn't understand. But this sword here is giving me the feeling of someone who is cutting through the dark with clarity. So I feel like something is going to come clear or has become clear. And it's going to cause you to kind of put all your swords down and walk away. And if you've been thinking about walking away from something but unsure, you're getting encouragement here that something is just not worth constantly defending. The Ten of Pentacles reverse, it could be some fears around money at this time when it comes to your family. Maybe you were building wealth in a relationship that you got to walk away from now, or there's a fear that by walking away, you're fumbling the ball or you're messing up some kind of financial come up or stability. The Child of Wands here, I see an opportunity trying to come through, either through someone else younger or just someone with fresh new ideas. Um, some of you, I see you actually literally having a child with someone, but there's some spark that's going to come in, that's going to revive your passion for something that maybe you've had to walk away from in the past. Something that didn't fill your cup in the past, that actually depleted you, made you feel like your heart was drained. You didn't just maybe a lot of you dads here dealt with a lot of people who had emotional issues or who didn't know how to commit. I'm sorry about that too. If many of you fathers have gone through that are a part of this family of light where you've had to walk away from your family or something you really, really uh, felt strongly about. But it looks like here there was a need to walk away, or there is a need to walk away from something that feels like you're constantly in defense mode. It does look like something comes in though, an opportunity that's gonna revive and spark your passion when you go through this. And if you have already, then you're probably at the point now where you're feeling kind of like financially unstable or like it's all your fault, you're ruining whatever was being built for your generation, for generations after you. There's still some hope here that comes in. All right, at the bottom of the deck you have the Temperance card and you have the Moon card, and that lets me know that there's some kind of balance or peace that's coming into your life. With the Moon here, I'm gonna tell you about the next, I was getting ready to say full, but they're hitting me with new. By the next new moon, you're going to be either desiring more harmony and balance in your life, or it's just going to start to come in. If you have any addictions, I see a lot of dads here that might smoke. Um, you're going to either have to find a way to balance it out so that it's not overindulgence, or you're going to have to leave it alone. Maybe that's the thing you've been defending. With the moon, though, there's things that are going to be coming to the surface that maybe have been lying underneath, and you couldn't really see what was causing the disharmony. It's going to be revealed. It's going to be revealed within you. What was causing any disharmony in you, whatever this was you to walk away from, it's going to be revealed to you why this happened, why you had to walk away, and it's going to bring some closure to something in your life that'll help you rebalance your vibration and your energy. And yeah, I think some of you fathers here may also have some healing work to do when it comes to mothers in your life. It could be your mom, whether she's living or deceased. It could be a baby mom, just someone who's a mother figure in your life. I feel like some of you may have inner child wounds when it comes to moms. Seeing the moon just makes me think of the divine feminine. And so it lets me know that there may be some issues where you might feel like you're either overly you feel like you're over the top sensitive, which I hate when people say that because I feel like feeling and being sensitive, it should be the goal of all human beings. But since most aren't, they see it as some problem. But either you're very, very sensitive, having to compensate for that nurturing you maybe didn't receive from a mother figure, or you're very, very, very serious and stern and temperamental at times because you had to amp up your masculine energy in order to compensate for that feeling of security and safety that a mom is supposed to bring. So, some of you, and this isn't everybody, has some healing work that needs to be done when it comes to mothers and your own emotions. Okay, mothers don't realize sometimes they can cause huge, huge issues in the masculine when they forget that feminine energy is needed to raise a masculine just as much as masculine energy is needed to raise a feminine. Okay. And that is the collective read, and I'll be right back with your pick a pal selection. Hey guys, welcome to the pal selection part of this session. I want to do a quick little I was Palo Santo. I was gonna Sage, but I think a little Palo Santo would be good because we are stepping out of the collective reading and stepping into the pick a pal. And this pick a pal is going to answer um three questions and give you a message as well that you need from your dad. So, this part of the session is not just for dads. This part of the session is for those who want to connect to the energy of their father, whether living or deceased, to understand the connection they have to their dad so that you can better get into alignment with whatever work you're meant to do that involves dads or your dad in particular. Okay. So we have three piles here represented by a top card and a crystal. Pile number one is this card and this pyrite crystal. Pile two is this card and this chunk of iron. Pile three is this card and this big piece of black tourmaline. Sorry, it's on a stand. I was going to try to take it off, but Okay. So you can pause here if you need some time to select. I'm going to do a quick energy shake up. That's a little bit of a quicker way of me getting the energies here all flowing if they've just been sitting, lying dormant. And hopefully by now you know which of these piles you feel called to because I'm going to be right back, pile one. But you can feel free to pause and take some more time to look at the piles and see where you feel guided. Hey, pile one, welcome to your session. You were drawn to this beautiful card here for your message today. This card is read last, so I'm going to put this to the side. And you were also drawn to this chunk of pyrite. So the first thing I'm feeling about the dad in your life is that he may have been the breadwinner. He may have been the one responsible for holding down finances. Whether he did or not, I don't know. But I am picking up that um he feels he was responsible for money, for making sure you were financially stable. Maybe he either feels like he did very well or he feels like he dropped the ball. But I am picking up breadwinner. Um, Somebody who didn't come from much but made in themselves into something amazing. Maybe your dad has a backstory that has to deal with poverty and a come up. But there's just something about I'm hearing like a self-made man or um the breadwinner. I keep hearing that. Okay. So first, let's see what you need to know about your dad right now. Prayer feather. Now the native spirit cards, I am going to go to the books to give you the message from those cards that you need to know about your dad right now. And we're going to take a look at some tarot too. You have Four of Cups. Hmm. Dad's a little like in an energy of regret or just feeling lonely. Okay. The Hierophant reversed. I don't know if there was a divorce between your mother and your father, or he went a different spiritual path, didn't agree with yours or your mom's, but I'm getting there is some regret and just loneliness. Maybe your dad regrets if he walked away from the family. He's thinking about that. If he hasn't spent enough time around his kids, he's thinking about that. He looks at your social media, he looks at you online. This is for those whose dads are living. Um some of you here, your father is deceased. I feel like sometimes he comes around you in the form of a dog. I have for a spirit animal, a dog. Not dark colored ones, light colored, white dogs, yellow, golden dogs, gray dogs. And he comes around you at times where you feel very lonely or are getting discouraged about things. He's also the one who guides you spiritually. So if you ever feel like you're into things that are outside of the box of tradition, like these type of readings, your father is guiding you towards them. Knight of Cups reversed. So he wasn't always the greatest of a lover. He might have came off as a great romantic initially, only to reveal that he might not have really been ready for a commitment. Knight of Swords reverse. Hmm. So there's so many different messages I'm getting. What you need to know about your dad right now. Some of it I feel like your dad feels like he didn't get enough time to mature. Some of your fathers I feel like they didn't get enough time to mature to truly understand how to love and how to communicate in a relationship properly. But they were moving very, very fast. Some of your fathers might felt like they were put into a marriage or a commitment before they were ready, um, and were left disappointed and hurt or lonely and sad from it all. Some of your fathers are still working on owning the part they played in a lot of what might have happened in your family. Because I see some of them really, really blame the feminines in their family. I'm seeing a lot of feminine energy, like they're not really ready to own where they were also a part of whatever, anything that happened that might have been not what was intended as far as the relationship with your mom went. So let's take a look at this prayer feather. What else do you need to know about your dad? So the card is saying that love is flowing to you and through you. No matter what an individual is saying or doing, love him or her anyway. And I really feel like that's the message from your dad about your dad. What you need to know about your dad is that your dad does love you. If you've had any doubt about that, this is confirmation. And no matter what you do, no matter what you say, your dad's always gonna love you, your father. So if you guys have had arguments, if you've been disappointed in your dad in the past, if you were upset about a family breakup or anything, your dad is letting you know that because they have unconditional love for you, they are actually hoping for the same grace and love unconditionally to come from you as well. Because this card speaks of loving deeply and fully with every ounce of your being, even if someone isn't fulfilling your expectations. Wow. See, feathers in Native American, well, some cultures, represent a connection with the creator. And birds, because birds are often seen as the messengers between people and the spirit realm. Um, So it's also a message to you to know that the love you send out into the world comes back to you. Okay. So there may be times where you want to pull your love back from your father. Maybe you look at him and things he's done and you judge him and you hold it in your heart, you know, and they're saying, don't do that. What you need to know about your father is that even if your father didn't seem like the most forgiving person, uh, at this time, that's the type of grace he needs. He needs you to love him no matter what, because he in turn loves you regardless as well. Okay? This father may have smoked or does smoke. That's just for some of you. So if you're smoking, that's something you need to know. Like, your father does. Um, I'm really not really feeling that. Okay. Um, unless you're using smoke to cleanse a space, to smudge a space or something. So, yeah, you're really being asked to send love your father's way and to know that he's also always loving you unconditionally, okay? So, why was this guy your father? Why did you choose this person before being born in this lifetime? You have the moon. Wow. Take note of intuitive messages. And protection guardian. Drop your shields. So I do feel you chose this dad because this dad had the best ability to balance the divine feminine and the masculine. Um, there's something about emotions and feelings. And I think your spirit chose this dad either because you had a lot to learn about harnessing your feelings, grounding them, and expressing them without it becoming like screaming, shouting, angry, or depression. Um, you chose this dad because this is a dad who pretty much would speak from an inner knowing or an inner place or just allow itself to be guided by intuition or what he felt. That's why sometimes maybe he came off as, oh, he would say things he didn't really mean. It's not that he didn't mean them. He's more of someone who comes from feeling, emotion, acts on that. Um, hmm. You chose this dad as well because there was a strength you needed to get from him. Um, as you were growing up, maybe you were very sensitive or very emotional. This father was the right one to help you um, emotionally learn how to deal with emotions, learn how to express them or when not to, learn how to protect them, and learning when to drop your shield and being able to share. There's a lot of depth to your father, things that you don't know, I feel like, that he keeps or kept to himself, but he's very intuitive. So if you would talk to him and he just knew things, yeah, it wasn't a joke. He does, okay? Or he did. Um, so what traits do you get from your dad that you're overlooking and need to use right now? Performer, actor. So a lot of you had dads who were into the performing arts. And at this time, there's a need for you to step in. Now, that doesn't always mean that your dad was a performing artist, but it does mean that your dad was connected, drawn to, or really into performing arts and actors and film and things like that. So you have an artistic gift in you when it comes to the stage, when it comes to performance, and that could even be on social media platforms. And it's time for you to look into that trait now. It's needed in your life. And you have instinct, animal. And I feel like this is that intuitive knowing. You get this from your dad where you feel like you just know things, you just move off of instinct. That's a trait you get from your dad. When people feel like, oh my God, pal one, you're like always ready to go, ready to do. Um, you're just following the calling. You're just following your instincts. You're following what you know, how you were raised. And I think that's a trait you need to know about your dad too, that a lot of how he raised you, how he was in his relationship with your mom is just instinctual. It came from how he saw relationships, how he was raised. And so that's what he knew. And at the same time, you have some traits from him that are instinctual as well, because it's how you were raised, it's what you know. All right. You have to decide which of those traits are good and which are not. But I really feel like with instinct and performing together, you have an eye for performance, for promoting, for marketing, for getting people seen, maybe public relation work. Um, yeah, but I'm also hearing with actor, you may also be someone who's able to take on roles that can pull people from out behind their self-created mask and have them take a look in the mirror at themselves. And that could be through therapy, counseling, or it could just be from being related to them and having some words. That's pretty much that. So let's see. Whether your dad is living or deceased, what would he say to you right now if he was in your presence? That you are dearly loved is an eternal truth, for in the grand cosmic scheme of things, only love is real, and only love will remain. Forever within our hearts, forever within our hearts, sorry. Love does not judge you, it just unconditionally loves you. It is the true wisdom of consciousness. Seek shelter in love, and you shall hear the song of spirit and be guided by its sacred sound. Your dad is deep. So, pretty much, it's again a cry out for unconditional love. Just loving me through my mistakes, loving me through my growing pains and my evolution, but knowing that I'm never here to hurt you. I'm only here to help you. I'm still you know, we're always evolving and growing and learning new things, and at one point I feel like your father didn't value himself or just had very maybe came from low income, and I think he built who he is, but it may have come with some sacrifices in um experiencing things fully. When you're instinctual, you kind of just follow where you feel called, and or just do what you feel is normal without even thinking about it. And some of his behavior, he's letting you know, was not personal, was not intentional. He does hold a lot of guilt about it, possibly from either a spiritual thing, like where maybe he forced your family and you into a belief system that everyone wasn't with, or the relationship with your mom just was not traditional. He was always cheating, or she had someone else or something. It was just not a strong commitment. And there are regrets around it on your father's end, but he's asking that you just love him. Because the more that you love and you forgive and you don't judge, that same unconditional love is going to come back to you. And that's what your father wants for you, to find unconditional love and to heal and to love him unconditionally as well. And that's what I got for you guys, my group ones. If this resonated, give me a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, remember to subscribe. And everyone, always read the description. Otherwise, you ain't gonna know what the hell's going on in this family. So, on that note, have a wonderful Father's Day. I'm sending you so much love and light on your journey. Peace, blessings, and all the goodies that come from being a part of this family of light. And I'll be back with Pal 2. See ya. Hey, Pal 2. Welcome to your session. You were guided to this card. Okay, I'll read this last, as well as this chunk of rock. Now, let me tell y'all, I don't know if this is iron or if this is a lava stone. I have no idea. I just know my last trip to Guinea, I said I'm taking a piece of Guinea with me. And they have these like coming up out of the ground all over the place. And I've always wondered, like, what is that? Is that like straight up raw iron? They're just walking across it, not realizing people would pay millions for this? Or is this a lava stone? I don't know, but it's found all over. You'll see it all over, especially in Conakry. And first thing I'm hearing for you guys, a lot of you come from military backgrounds. Your dad either was military, or his dad was in the military. I'm getting a lot of military energy, because I feel international travel, people who have been around the world, who have traveled. I do get a very stern energy. Maybe your father was very, very strict or rigid, like stuck in his ways, a certain way or belief. Um, But I do feel like the military had a huge effect on your father, either being in it, having a family member in it, or having to deal with the military. Maybe seeing the military in the streets, growing up. There's just something, I'm getting a lot of military energy. Maybe you grew up with a father who made you feel like he was a sergeant in the military. Maybe he used military drills or punishments. There's just something about the influence of the military on this dad that must be important. So let's see what you need to know about your dad right now. Great mystery. Wow. Well, there you have it. Your dad's a great mystery. And remember, this reading is for dads that are living or deceased. So you apply it as you would, depending on whether your father's living or deceased. We have the Eight of Pentacles reversed. So there's something about your dad's career that is at the head of what you need to know. Maybe he never saw how great he truly was, or he just never got to the level he wanted to. Nine of Swords reversed. Wow. So a lot of anxiety and stress your dad was carrying or is carrying that revolves around career. And I think at one point there was some issues around work and belief. It's like I'm seeing with this Nine of Swords reverse, it's usually a whole lot of worry and stress that some of it's not even yours. But I'm seeing behind this person astrological markings. Um, it does feel like maybe your father has tried to get into mystical belief systems and things like that. Um, I feel like maybe that has helped relieve him with some stress. For others of you, I feel like maybe your father does not fully understand your involvement in spiritual, I call it spiritual healing arts, but some people call it mysticism and stuff like that, in the metaphysical sciences. For some of you, your father, you need to know that your father does feel like maybe you missed a calling. There's a lot with career and work. It's very important with this dad. Work. All right, Seven of Wands. Your father might have been in the visual arts. That's for some of you, or is. It's a lot of visual art references here. And the Ten of Cups reversed. What you need to know about your dad so far is that his career was a lot of stress and a lot of pressure for him. I don't know if that's still the case, but I'm feeling like it's past tense. Like maybe how he dealt with you or how he dealt with his relationship revolved a lot around his anxieties with his career. Just not feeling good enough, not feeling like he was doing what he felt called to do. Here he looks, the energy is happy, but it's reverse. So maybe he felt like he was stuck in a career that just wasn't his calling. He felt like he was never going to be what he wanted to be. That made me think of the army again. Be all that you can be. Well, if you're very, very young, you never heard that in the army reserve commercial. But there's something in his mindset like that. Be all you can be. And he felt like he dropped the ball there. He felt like he was not able to reach the level of mastery of his career or his goal or his dream or whatever it was he truly wanted to do. Maybe the military got in the way, maybe family. Because with the Ten of Cups here reverse, it does kind of look like he wasn't happy at home. And that he always felt like he had to defend what he was into, what he wanted to do. So maybe uh he was doing a job that just wasn't making him happy, that actually was bringing a lot of anxiety and stress and a feeling of um wanting to expand, like wanting to learn more about the world, but feeling very trapped in a nightmare. Like, this is not the life I wanted, is what I'm hearing. This is not what I expected. This is not what I thought. And now I'm looking for outside things that can help me cope with this. So you may have had a father who's an addict, um, or some kind of addiction or abuse. Um, you may have had a father who might have been violent. This pal is giving me like someone who was really stressed out and overwhelmed and carrying a lot of mental issues, distress. They could have been mentally ill, but it was like at a time they were really, really confused with what they were supposed to be doing. So it feels like they did something that really stressed them the hell out. At the same time, they were trying to hold on to what they really wanted to do, what they really wanted, while people were trying to tell them, no, you need to do other things. You see the things that people have in their hands? It's like they're almost telling this artist, you need to get a regular job, what we consider to be a real job, disrespecting where this artist feels called. And I think if your father was artistic or creative, he felt like he had to constantly defend his creativity. But for others of you, your father felt like there was something else he always wanted to do, but that he was forced into a certain line of work or career in order to have this happy family dream. But the happy family was not happy because he wasn't happy. And that's something you need to know. Maybe you blame your dad for unhappiness within your family, and he kind of wanted you to know, like, well, I was very, very stressed out. I was very, very much unhappy in the career I was in and doing a lot of what I was doing really for the family. So if you saw your dad as selfish or you see him in that way, he's trying to kind of come through to let you know I wasn't really thinking just of myself, but I knew that if I was not balanced and grounded and happy, that I wouldn't be able to have this. I wouldn't be happy. I would turn to substances or step outside of my relationship. Let's read the great mystery. What else you need to know about your dad right now? You have to have faith and know that you're divinely guided. And that's what I feel you need to know about your dad. Your dad was divinely guided, even though he couldn't see it or he had doubts or maybe you couldn't. Trust that you're exactly where you need to be. Believe. You've planted your seeds, now allow the Creator to do the rest. Even if you can't see into the future, have faith that the path will be illuminated and go forward. If you have any recurring challenges, turn them over to the Creator. Not my will, but thy will be done. So, a lot of Native American cultures refer to God or the Most High as the Great Spirit or the Great Mystery. It's the idea that the Great Spirit is so vast and profound that in many ways it's unknowable. It's always going to be a mystery, and you just have to have faith in its ability to manifest. That's the foundation, is faith. Everything was created because someone believed that it was possible. And patience is absolutely crucial in the application of this principle. So you have to trust. Your dad wants you to know right now change can happen in a heartbeat, but some things require time. So if you're having a riff, some of you, I feel like you don't talk to your dad. If you are not speaking to your dad, it's kind of like spirit wants you to know he's changed. Things can change. And that maybe you said some things or you did some things that were like seeds being planted in his mind that have now grown or are growing. So be patient with him and know that the change that you desire is going to eventually come in. So if there is any like, I just don't know what's going on with my dad, I don't know what's going on between me and my dad, um, and I also get for this group, maybe your dad was like someone you looked up to at one point, like God, like you just saw him as this huge figure, this power. Um, and that was a lot to live up to. It was a lot to live up to, a lot of pressure, to be this great being that you saw your father as. And when he fell short of that and showed he was human, there's a lot of disappointment that you might have um, gained from that rather than seeing he was human. He was finding his way. He's still learning the great mystery as well. And it was kind of throwing him. I think he was raised with one belief and he was starting to learn a lot of other things. And it was starting to really take a toll on him. He didn't feel like he had time to find clarity ever. And he could only find it in doing something he loved that people were kind of making him feel he had to defend. Maybe you had a dad who loved to play video games or does, and people make him feel like that's just something you shouldn't be doing. You need to be working harder. It's just something that your dad needed or needs that makes him feel good, that he shouldn't have to defend, that maybe you didn't understand, and that he was allowing himself to do things that made him unhappy, but that he knew would make the family happy. And in the end, it did not because dad has to be happy too. So, there's a need for you to realize your dad was human, is what I'm hearing. And that at through your life, there was divine guidance. Everything that happened was so that you could be who you are today. So there shouldn't be any resentment towards your dad, even if you don't speak to him. There should be no resentment. You are who you are today thanks to your dad's resilience, perseverance, as they're showing here, strength, and ability to be selfless sometimes, give up a part of himself so that you all, the family, could be happy. But in the end, it just feels like it didn't go that way. It didn't make everyone happy because your dad was not happy. He's in this straight up state of mental distress. Um, he might have even or does have trouble sleeping sometimes. I think that if your dad is still living, he does still have regrets around career. And maybe he projects that. So if you feel like you're under a lot of pressure from your dad when it comes to your career or work, now you know why. Okay. So let's see. Why was he your father? Why'd you choose this man to be your dad in this lifetime? Earth Guardian. Stay rooted and grounded. Eagle. See from a higher perspective. This is interesting because Pal 1 got a shield and a guardian also. If Pal 3 gets the same thing, I'm going to freak out. I know some of y'all like, I'm going to check Pal 3 just to see. But anyway, so there's a lot of connection to Earth. with your dad and a lot of heart chakra work. So your father might have in this lifetime been working through emotional stuff when it comes to love, um, yeah, compassion and nurturing. Maybe he didn't always feel like he received that. Um, but you chose him because you knew that your dad would keep you grounded. You knew that your dad would not let your ego go crazy, would keep you practical, keep you focused, keep you connected to earth. Your dad is very outdoorsy. If that's not true, this is not your dad's pal. This dad here likes to be out in nature, likes to travel around the world, likes to do creative things. But I'm really feeling a deep connection to earth and nature. And you chose this dad because you knew that you would you would gain the ability to step outside of things when you needed to. That's one thing. Maybe you saw your dad as running away from certain things. But this pal here, I feel like your dad knew when he needed to step outside of something so that he could get clarity and a better look at things. So if you hold resentment against a father that walked away, he didn't walk away because he didn't want to be in his around his family anymore. He walked away because he felt like he might have been the issue and he needed to see things from a higher perspective. He needed to pull his energy back and see where maybe he could have been the problem. All right. So it wasn't a selfish move for those of you who thought that. Um, Even though there may have been a lot of thought about self as well. But I think at a certain point, your dad realized he was the issue with the happy home. And you chose him because you knew that this spirit, though they may initially seem very rigid. With earth, that's very hard to move. Takes a long time for things to grow. But when it does start moving and growing, it gives. And he may seem like he's very stuck in his ways and had tunnel vision, focus on one thing, but you chose him because you knew he would keep you focused. Some of you chose your dad because you needed artistic talents or gifts that he had, or would have. And that ability to own your shit. That's something you meant to learn from him in this lifetime is being able to admit you were wrong, being able to say, I messed up. And that's something he's going to be learning. But through his lesson in that, you're also going to learn from that. Either you're going to have a very uh no bullshit, high no bullshit policy, like you just tell it like it is, or you're going to be um a lot more conscious of that and how what you say and what you do affects others. And that's why you chose your dad, because watching his journey to happiness, to finding his happiness without it having to be sacrificed for the happiness of others, you're going to learn how to stay rooted and grounded in your vision and to know how to pull your energy back when you need to step away from something and get a better look at things or shift your mindset and reboot. I feel like your father's someone who's been able to step into many different energies, different hats. And I think that's also a gift that you wanted or you needed. So what traits do you get from your dad that you're overlooking and need to be using right now? Passion. There is some artistic talent that your dad has that you're not using. Maybe he was a musician. I don't know. Um, but I'm just getting that this pal had creative or have creative fathers who are very passionate about something and some aspect of creativity. I really get visual arts. I get dance. She's giving me dance a little bit in music for this pal, but it could be a lot of things. It could be many things that fall into create the creative zone. But it's just your passion for what you do, your passion for the things that call to you, your passion for the creative arts comes from your dad. And you need to be accessing the gifts that are being passed down to you creatively, because most of your creative gifts, this pile, come from your father. And you have cultivation, the gardener. So, like your father, one of your father's traits is to be able to grow things where there's nothing. Maybe it could look like, maybe your father was one of them people that found furniture in the garbage and was like, oh, I could bring this up and I could make this into something. Or he saw land and there's nothing there, but he could see what could be there. Um, there's something about having the patience and time to create something amazing, to transform something that looks like it's nothing into something beautiful. And that's a gift. It's a gift. Maybe you had a father who's able to find places to live that most people would be like, oh my God, no one wants to live there. And then once your father was done with it, you'd be like, oh my God, everybody's going to want to come here. There's just something about being able to transform. I keep hearing transform something that's mediocre or nothing and growing it into something big. And these are traits that your father has that you also have, and you need to be looking at now. So, last but not least, whether your father is living or deceased, if he was standing in front of you right now, what would he say? And this is your card. I'm still getting so much outdoors energy. I get like a dad who would go on nature hikes and camping and stuff. It says, beyond the light of this world, there is an inner light that always shines bright. Close your eyes and be guided by your inner light. Feel it flow through your entire body, your thoughts and emotions. Feel it relax and heal every part of you. Listen to the immortal dialogue between your soul and spirit. This is the never ending story of you. Wow. I do feel like a part of this message is your dad wants you to know that you are a light, that you hold within yourself everything you search for outside of yourself. The feelings you want people to validate, you have the power to validate. The recognition you seek from other people, you don't need that. Be guided by your inner light. Let it heal you. And listen to the immortal dialogue your spirit guides. Don't listen to the voices of other people. Listen to where spirit guides you, is the message from your father at this time. And tap into your inner light and seek validation from yourself, no one else. Maybe your father at one time felt like he had to be validated by other people to feel good about what he wanted to do or what he does. He doesn't want the same for you. He wants you to uh, go beyond him, go beyond this world, and to just really follow your passion. And that's what I got for you, my group twos. I hope this resonated. If it did, give me a thumbs up. If you are new here, please remember to subscribe. And everyone, read the description. It'll tell you about all the things I got going on, the other platforms you can find me on as well. And I want to say again to everyone, happy Father's Day. I hope you have a wonderful Father's Day, whether you are a father, your father is living or deceased. Enjoy the energy of today, which is one of stability, of love, and light. I was trying to find a fatherly like word. Anyway, I'm sending y'all so much light and love on your journey. Peace, blessings, and all the goodies that come from being a part of this family of light. Again, happy Father's Day. Until next time, I'll be back with Pile 3. See ya. Hey, Pile 3. You were drawn to this card. This is a red last. I'm going to put that over here. And this chunk of black tourmaline. So I feel like for this group here, your father was the protector. Might have been a little overprotective, might have felt sheltered in some ways, or hindered and limited by strictness. I'm hearing like a very strict father. Not saying you loved him any less or you love him any less, but just very strict and very protective, okay, energy here. So you might have felt like you missed a lot of experiences growing up, because I do feel like your father might have been very, very active or vocal in what you did or what you were into or what you were doing. So let's see what you need to know about your dad right now. Talking stick. Maybe you need to have a conversation with your dad. Anyway, let's see. So we have Six of Swords. The Page of Pentacles reversed. The Two of Pentacles. And the Queen of Wands reversed. So my pile threes. Out of all of the piles, I feel like this is the group that really, really did not know the depths of their father. I feel like this group here, your father put on a specific hat or role of father, defender, protector, disciplinarian. And that's the side you mainly saw. But what you need to know about your dad now is that he did have some issues with abandonment. I see issues with his mom, or who he chose as his wife. He may have felt very limited, and I'm feeling that for a lot of dads in this reading today, that a lot of your fathers um, sacrificed a lot so that they could try to step into the role. Whether you feel like they did a good job or not is not the point here. The point is that they were trying. There's nobody here in this collective so far where I felt like they just had a deadbeat dad. Even if the dad was not doing the greatest within the household, there was no like intent to be malicious or evil or mean. This was just someone going through their growing pains and trying their best to learn as they're progressing. So what I'm getting from your dad is like abandonment issues. I feel like either he has always been the one to walk away before someone could walk away from him, or he has felt like people walk away, people don't stay. And this is, remember, whether your father's living or deceased, you apply it. This could have been a past tense feeling, or this is a current energy. With the Page of Pentacles reversed, there's an issue with money, feeling like not getting great money opportunities. And with the Two of Pentacles here, it just lets me know just balancing act. This was some of you, may have had a single dad. Some of you may have had a dad who had kids with other people, other women. Maybe you got stepbrothers and sisters around. This dad was trying to balance, trying to juggle, either trying to juggle more than one relationship, more than one job. I'm getting for some, this was a balancing act for this dad. And that you didn't know that. He was trying to be what he thought he needed to be to make money, and still wasn't seeing a lot of money. Felt like he was not seeing his worth, but was doing a lot, maybe working more than one job. Yeah, if he wasn't working, he was trying to do things around the house. With the Queen of Wands reversed, there was a feminine in your dad's life who's very low on self-esteem, very low in confidence. Somebody who just couldn't see, didn't have an optimistic mindset. So either your dad felt abandoned or had to leave behind a woman like this. Could have been your mom, or it could be his mom. I'm getting his mom more so, may have been the protagonist, but it could be your mom, Whatever the case may be, it's someone who was dealing with self-esteem issues, lack of confidence, and I feel like they projected those fears onto your father, which caused him to pick up slack, juggle more, try to be more for this feminine. But you cannot make someone else whole. They have to find the wholeness within themselves. So I don't see any cups here. It's almost like this was a relationship for convenience, like for financial convenience, maybe so someone could work and someone could watch the kids, or together with that money, they could build something bigger. But it just feels like your dad checked out a long time ago. Even if y'all parents never got divorced, he was not really present in that relationship emotionally. There's a inner child wound, or a wound placed by a woman figure in his life that caused him to feel like he um had to be a protector. Maybe he was abandoned by his mom. Maybe he didn't have a good relationship with her. Maybe she was very pushy, as in get out there, do your thing, be ambitious and hustle and grind. It's just some kind of negative feminine energy in his life that you may not realize caused him to be or react in the way he did. Maybe you felt like he was over the top protective because he's seen, you know, people walk away, people leave. Um, if he's very pushy in regards to what you're doing with your life in general, it's because he had someone doing that to him. Yeah, there's a missing energy of love and compassion here, and I feel like a lot of obligation here, rather. A lot of what your dad did was out of feeling obligated. He had to do it. Um, and that takes its toll eventually. Hmm. And you needed to know that. So let's see what Talking Stick is about. I almost skipped that card. Just made me feel like you needed to have a talk with him, but that might not be it. Um, Speak your truth. Well, there you have it. Yes, that is it. The card meaning is speak your truth. The soul loves the truth. Communicate from your heart and share your reality without hesitation. I feel like your father's ready to do that, and that's what you need to know right now. Your father's ready to start to tell you things that maybe he journaled or wrote or kept within in some way. So you need to know about your dad is that he's ready to talk, ready to speak to you. Even if he's in the spirit realm, he's ready for you to communicate from your heart and share your reality without hesitation. Be willing to stand before the crowd and share your center. This isn't the time to be shy and hesitant. It's a time to heal through communication. You have the gift of a true leader through the way you communicate with others. So, during tribal council meetings in Native American culture, um, everybody would sit around something that was called the talking stick, which looks similar to these things here. And it would be passed around, and as each one or person in the council got the stick, that meant it was their turn to talk and be heard and speak from their heart. And everyone had to carefully listen to the words of each speaker. It reminded people to be courteous in listening and authentic in communicating. It restored trust. It allowed you to clarify your ideas and your feelings, and it can be very healing when you share what you've been holding in. So, what you need to know about your father right now is that he's ready to share things with you that he's been holding within. And if your father is deceased, he is ready for you to explore and find out things about him that you didn't know. Maybe talk to other family members, go through old photos, old journals, old books. There's something about your father you don't know that you need to know now that will kind of help you through a healing process of your own. Okay, so let's see, what traits do you get from your dad I'm sorry, skipping a question. Why was he your father? Why is he your father? Why'd you choose this man? So you have Spirit Fox. Trust your talents in changing times. And Summer. Bask in joy and light. I'm laughing because every pal got a shield. Every pal got a shield. Okay. So, you chose your dad because there's a wit about him. There's a talent he has with being able to reinvent himself, to be flexible, to mentally up level, to be able to keep up with changes that are happening around him in his life. Um, some of you may have been summer babies, or your dad was, or passed in the summer, or you go to see him, or you usually saw him in the summertime. There's something about the summer with your dad that you chose him because there's something with the summertime that brings joy and light, and there's something with his energy that's very much that. Maybe your dad is very funny. um he just had a presence when he would enter a room, just like a light presence, intimidating presence, but very, very clever. And there was something about his presence. I keep hearing his presence, his energy, that you chose that dad for because you need that same energy. Maybe you need to be able to find happiness and joy at times when things feel dark. You need to be able to trust that you have the talents, or at least take the steps to go to school and build up the talents necessary for whatever is needed at that time. If you need more knowledge about homes because you're about to build a house, you can shift and step into alignment with where you are already talented and knowledgeable about that. There's some talents I'm hearing too that your father has naturally that are passed on to you, that you just have a natural gift, a natural cleverness about, or just how to deal with in a clever way. I knew when I See, I paused for a second, but I knew when I came back, I was not going to put the camera in the same exact position. Everything was fitting, and now it's not. All right. Anyway, it's all good. Y'all can see the cards. Hopefully, it wasn't like this for every group, and I just thought I had everything fitting. Okay. All right. So, let's see what traits you get from your dad that you're overlooking and need to use now. Caregiver support. See, your dad really, really, really was a protector, or is a protector. Your dad is someone that you feel like you can call on when you need assistance or help, and maybe your dad feels like that about you, or did. You get this same trait. You may find that you're helping people that maybe either you do it out of just feeling called to, or it's a part of your career. But there's something about assisting elderly people who are transitioning into their next lifetime. Um, Young folk, I'm getting even. There's just something about you, you and your dad, that feels like you have to be that rock for others. And you do get that trait from him where you feel like you have to take care of everybody. You have to juggle and, you know, yeah, to get that coin, or you have to support someone around you in your family who's struggling mentally or emotionally, and inspire them. There's just something about being a support and a caregiver that you get from your dad. And then you literally got your father coming through. I wondered if this card, I knew it was in the deck, but I wasn't sure it was going to come through in the reading. You are the pal who got the father card. I knew it was going to come through. That's how I know that I was meant to do this Father's Day reading. Um, you're very similar to your dad, my threes, whether you like it or not. You are very, very similar. In fact, you're probably more like your dad than your mom. You have a lot of his traits, you have a lot of his talents, you have a lot of great memories with him, and his ability to be an authority figure, to take charge, take control, offer guidance, support, and protection, um, and still be a light of joy. Uh, these are things that you picked up from him that are traits of your own and abilities of your own, thanks to your dad's ability to trust within, to really, because I feel like your dad didn't feel protected or safe at some point in his childhood. Um, ooh, sorry, I'm hitting the mic. Didn't feel protected or safe somewhere in his childhood. And sorry for the shakiness, guys. I'm changing something. Okay. Yeah. And I think that for that reason, he kind of overcompensated with you to make you feel safe, to make you protected. And could have been a little overbearing, but now you kind of have an idea as to why. Anything that your dad felt like he was lacking growing up, he's trying his best to offer you, whether you could see it or not. Yeah. So if your dad was standing in front of you right now, what would he tell you? And it says, to allow your imagination to drift beyond the horizon. Beyond time, there is a world of dreams without limits, full of magical ideas, a world just waiting for you. But this faraway world is not so far. It's inside your heart, and all it takes to get there is a dream. Wow. Your father's literally telling you to follow your dream, to let your imagination show you where you can go. I think he felt like he placed limitations on how far he could go and the things he could do after having children, and just started to feel like he had to do a balancing act to take care of everyone. And yeah, just he doesn't want you to be in that predicament ever. He wants you to continue to vision, continue to imagine great things for yourself. Continue to follow your dreams and your magical ideas, and know that all it takes for you to reach these things you dream of is to dream it. He's trying to awaken you to the power of manifestation. Why is the screen dark? There we go. He's trying to awaken you to the power of manifestation within yourself, the ability to shift your mind into alignment with what you want, in the same way that you can stop yourself from getting what's coming into you through what you feel you're worthy of, and what you feel you can attain, and what you feel inside your heart. This world of your dreams and your magical ideas and goals and are possible to write outside, to write actually inside your mind. And that's your message from your dad, is to not stop dreaming and visioning and following that dream. Okay. That's what I got for you, my threes. I hope this resonated. If it did, give me a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please remember to subscribe. Everybody, read the description. It'll tell you about how we can further work together. If I have any workshops, it'll tell you all about my retreat, Boat Nissa, to Guinea, West Africa, that I know you're going to come on and enjoy and enter 2026 feeling elevated emotionally, physically, spiritually, and mentally. And I'm sending you so much love and light on your journey. Peace, blessings, and all the goodies that come from being a part of this family of light. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful and beautiful Father's Day. Whether your father is living or deceased, or you identified as one or not, this is still a great day for getting into the energy of the divine masculine. Love you guys. Bye.